to Granny's Country Cooking, and I am Granny, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today we are going to make cream gravy out of this world. Now this is the white gravy that you get whenever you go to get maybe chicken strips and they give you a little tub of white gravy, or you may be in a restaurant where you're having maybe mashed potatoes and the white cream gravy. This is the original homemade old-fashioned from scratch cream gravy. Easiest thing in the whole wide world to make. I'm Granny. I'm so glad you're here with me today, and we are going to be making cream gravy. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, we've got our things set up and ready to go. So I'm going to show you what sizes we're going to make. Today we're going to make the smaller size cast iron skillet. If you do not have a cast iron skillet, you can still make this delicious gravy. It's just with a cast iron, it tastes even better. Now, if there are maybe 2 or 3 people, you might want a smaller size, or if you're big eaters and want to enjoy your gravy, you might want a bigger size, or you have more people. Now, this is the larger size. It's not as big as they come, but this is the larger size. Now, the recipe we are doing today will make this smaller size, this one right here. Now, if you want to make this large size, double this recipe. But today we're making the small one. Now, I have a little bowl I like to use. It's very, very old. I'm not sure how old. And always try to remember when you're pouring hot gravy into a glass bowl to always have a metal spoon. This is a little dipper that I use for the gravy, very old. Now this will be in here to catch the heat from that gravy when I pour it in. Now, cream gravy is very, very easy. Very easy. And there's only one little trick to remember, and I will show it to you in just a minute. Now, if you happen to see the video on Granny's Country Fluffy Biscuits, I just finished that video, and we have those biscuits today. Let me show you what the biscuits look like. And what we're going to do is to pour the gravy over the biscuits in a plate. But I wanted to show you the biscuits, so if you want to learn to make biscuits also, then go to that video, Granny's Country Cooking, and it's on YouTube, and it will be Granny's Country Fluffy Biscuits, and that'll be the recipe. So today, we're making the gravy. Now, in this size right here, if you have bacon grease, it's pure gold. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Now, I have a little coffee can that whenever I cook bacon, I dribble the few little drops into this can and save it. Now, I hate to say that I don't always have enough bacon grease, but if you don't have it or don't want to use it, no worries. I like to use corn oil, and it makes absolutely delicious gravy. Perfect gravy. Now, if you also want to cook sausage, you can also use the sausage grease to make the gravy, and it will be absolutely delicious, so no worries. Now, today, we are going to use the corn oil, and it will work. Now, for this smaller size, I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup. Now I'm going to pour it in there. It looks like an awful lot, but when it gets into the pan, it hardly looks like there's anything in there, so no worries. Now, normally what I do is I take another 1/4 of a cup. If you have a 1/4 of a cup of oil, you have a 1/4 of a cup of flour. And this is my little flour bin, and here is another 1/4 of a cup. and I'll put it right into that. Now, if this is not enough flour to make that paste that we want in just a minute, then I'll put a little bit more in to get that paste just ready. So let me take a break and go get my little whisk that we're going to use, and we'll be right back. Thank you. A whisk is very important because it keeps the lumps from forming. Now what we're going to do is turn the burner on, and we want it about medium. You want it hot enough to get hot, but not hot enough to burn it real quick. So maybe just a little bit more. I love a gas stove because you can see how to regulate it a little bit better. But if you have an electric stove, no worries, just kind of regulate it. Now I can already tell I'm going to need more flour because, as you can see, it's really runny. We don't want runny, we want to make a paste. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit more out of my little flour container. I'm going to use half of a fourth, like about an eighth, and we'll see how that works. But you'll see the consistency of when we get it there. Now this is getting a little bit better. Now sometimes I know when I taste those a little bit more flour, we'll keep working with it till we get the paste. Now sometimes when I eat in the fast foods or regular restaurants, the flour doesn't have much flavor. Or I'm trying to say not the flour, but the gravy doesn't have much flavor. It's kind of blank. And so what we are going to do is show you how to make the old-fashioned country delicious gravy. And it's all in one little secret step. And I'll show you in just a minute. Now that's about what we want. Do you see where it's kind of a paste? That's what we want. Now what we're going to do is this is going to be for your taste. So you put in the salt and the pepper that will taste good to you. Now what I'm going to do is we like quite a bit of pepper, so I'm going to, this is really strong. So I'm going to sprinkle that in. Now this is sea salt, and it has a better flavor, so I think you will like it better. And I'm going to sprinkle this in, if I can get it to come out. And there we go. Now I may need to add a little more salt at the end, but it won't hurt. Now it is cooking. You have your burner on about medium. Now this is the secret step. What you're doing is you're browning this flour to the color of peanut butter, to where it's kind of a dark, creamy color. If it gets even a little bit too dark, it's still going to taste delicious. But you want it about the color of peanut butter. And that's all the secret there is to it, is just to brown the flour. And my little pan is starting to get a little hot, so I'm going to use a pot holder. Now you do want to keep stirring so it doesn't burn in one spot and cook in the rest of it. Now what this is doing is giving the flour and the oil time to cook and not taste pasty. You don't want that nasty, pasty, gluey, blank taste. This is going to cook the flour into a delicious flavor when the gravy's done. I wish I could hand you a bite of gravy and biscuits in just a minute so you could get the taste of it. But I know when you make it at your house, it's going to be delicious. So all you're doing, now remember, you can use another kind of skillet. I just love the cast iron because they just give it a little bit of an extra taste to it. But you can use another kind of frying pan, it's okay. Now we're going to keep this cooking until it's golden like peanut butter. Now I'm not sure if you may hear my little puppies coming in and out, but they keep coming in and checking on Mama. So if you hear them or see them, it's okay. And they do smell the good food. So we are making this good, delicious, crunchy, delicious gravy. Now what I like to do is to use a little bit of a pointed, because it gets into the edges of the pan. And as we're stirring, we're not getting any lumps. It's keeping the lumps out. And it takes a few minutes to get that golden color, but then it really turns quickly, so you will see. I was raised on biscuits and gravy in the mornings, oh, out of this world. And I was taught by the best elderly country cooks in the whole wide world. Most of the foods that I cook can be cooked on a campfire or cooked on the wood stove or any modern stove. Now the biscuits, I have cooked these biscuits on a campfire in a cast iron skillet. And what that is, it's a cast iron pot that's deeper, and it has a lid called a Dutch oven. And what you do is that you put that Dutch oven on the fire with the lid and get it nice and toasty. You have your oil in there getting warmed, and then you're making that heat stay inside that cast iron, that Dutch oven. And then you pull it off the burner, put your biscuits in like I did a while ago, put the lid back on and keep it off the fire and let them bake in that little Dutch oven. And they are perfect. Now it's starting to get a little bit browner, but it still needs to be a little bit more. Now we're getting a little bit more of what is wanted. If you can kind of see, it's starting to get a little brown. Now if you were here, you could smell the smell that you're wanting. It is a smell of kind of I don't know how to explain it, maybe a smoky smell. Now milk, what you do, any kind of milk you want, you pour it in while it's nice and hot, and you fill the pan to at least half. Now I may have to go get some more milk in just a minute, but we are going to work with this. Now I'm going to gently move my whisk and start stirring it in little tiny circles, and that's going to keep the lumps from forming. It's going to be out of this world. It's going to be delicious cream gravy. And if I have to go get some more milk, I'll go get some more milk in just a second. But right now we're going to work with this. Now if you happen to walk away from this, if there's emergency or something you need to stop, always turn the burner off. And then you can come back and you can add a little more milk to it, and you can work with it and it'll be okay. Always have a whisk, keeps the lumps out. Now if you can see, it's really, really pretty. And it's going to be even prettier in just a minute. Now what you're going toward is to have this bubble all over for a few minutes. Then you turn the burner off and you taste it, and if you need to add a little more salt or a little more pepper or whatever you would like, then you can at that time. And if it gets a little bit too thick, just add more milk. If it's a little too runny, then just let it cook some more and it'll get thicker. Now if you can see, it's starting to bubble and it is turning into delicious gravy. Do you see that? I wish I could get that camera closer. where you can see now it's really bubbling. Now I'm going to turn the burner off, and we're going to let it finish cooking. Now at this time, I would taste it and see if it needed more salt, and if it did not, then I would pour it in the bowl. So I'm going to be right back and get some more milk, and I will get a spoon and we will taste it and see. Thank you, be right back. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit more milk, and you can see how it will look. You pour it in, and then you stir it around gently because you don't want it to slop out of the pan. And you turn this around and spill it around. Now remember, you can use any kind of milk, regular milk, whole milk. I would not recommend something like almond milk or the substitutes like that. I would say it'd be better not to. And skim milk doesn't make a creamy gravy, but I like to use the lactose-free, and it's a 2%. It still has enough, but it's not a lot. Now I'm going to add a little bit more. And what I'm doing is getting the consistency so that when you put it on the table, it won't be too thick. Because the colder it gets, the thicker it will be. Now I want you to see how beautiful this cream gravy is. I won't spill it. All right, now we're going to taste it and make sure there's enough salt. Now I'm going to use a clean spoon, and I will put it down into my spoon to taste. And let's see. Out of this world, delicious. Now, what I'm going to do, this is the old-timey way. I'm going to pour this gravy into this pretty little bowl. And remember, you want a metal spoon so that the heat goes into the spoon and doesn't hurt the bowl. Okay, here we go. We're going to pour it in. And I hope you can see it really well. Oh, some went on the floor, but I'll get that. Okay. And now we have a beautiful bowl of cream gravy. Like this. This is what it looks like. Cream gravy. Now, another idea is if you have sausage that you're serving to your people or yourself, then you can make your gravy, and you can even crumble after the sausage is cooked. Crumble the sausage into this gravy and let it heat for a few minutes, and it's out of this world delicious. So let's get us a beautiful little plate. We're going to get that nice big beautiful biscuit from the other video, and I'm going to see how pretty that biscuit is. It's all goldeny and painted with butter. I put melted butter on the inside. Now I want to show you that there's crunchy on the bottom and crunchy on the top and soft in the middle. Now what we're going to do in the country, what we would do is have the gravy and the biscuits on the table, and we would take this and pour it all over the biscuits. And at our place, or any place that's good and country, you can get as much gravy as you want. That's why when I have company, I make a bigger amount. So there is your biscuits and gravy, and this is cream gravy that goes with fried chicken or chicken fried steak or anything that you want cream gravy to go on. So I want to thank you for being with me today. And I'm so glad that you are watching, and I hope that this will help you in making your cream gravy. And you can ask me any questions that you want. Contact me below or at my my Gmail address, which is granny'scountrycooking@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to push the little like button as well as subscribe and touch the bell button, because that will notify you when there are new videos. And thank you so much. I love having all of you with me, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye. Happy cooking.